So I would say, okay, got it. That's what you're gonna do. Say it back to me. And I kid you not, if you ask them to say it back, this is crazy. Like 1 out of 3 times, they'll just completely get it wrong. And it's because they weren't listening, they weren't paying attention, whatever. And so I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that I was about to leave this meeting and they didn't understand what they needed to do. And so you can stack the who, what, when, you recap it all the way through. And then if you have a team that's not doing as well, have them explain it back to you so they know what needs to happen. Now, once you have this loop in place, what do? We lubricate it. We add money. We add incentives. So how can we align what they do with the outcome of the business? And so back into ops, I looked at everything, eliminated all the meetings, and then I said, okay, in this department, everything is based on quality. And so we just need to make better stuff. And so I said, if you make better stuff, I will pay you more. I'd rather have one guy who makes 3 times the money than 3 mediocre guys. In a very real way, it's easier for me to manage one person. There's way less communication, there's way less overhead, way less waste. And we'll get better outcomes. And so if you're like, okay, I understand that you did all this, but how did you communicate with them if they had no meetings? So I just switched to a daily stand-up, which is every day, same time. We all hop on, and I run departments like sales teams, all right? And I think that you can do this with any business, and the reason that I like modeling sales teams for 2 reasons. 1, I have a lot of experience with them. 2, I believe that the way sales teams are structured and operated have already been optimized for performance because the feedback loops are so tight. If you're not managing your sales team well, you find out very quickly. And as soon as you fix how you operate it, you find out very quickly. And so I think that sales teams overall are run typically very well. Now, what are the things about sales teams? So for new people, when they come in, what do? They listen to a lot of game tape. This works for customer service. This works for media. This works for sales. They watch a lot of the right way to do things. Then what happens? There's a lot of role playing in sales. So if you could role play in customer service. You could role play around what would you look at with this piece of content? What would be the moments that you would clip out? How would you structure it? And you ask them to explain the work that they would do. That's when someone new is coming in. And then we say, okay, we're gonna give you a half calendar if you're a sales guy. I'm gonna give you a half calendar if you're customer service. I'm gonna give you a half calendar for media to make sure you're not posting tons of crap. You're just gonna get 1 post a day. And then if you do a good job, you meet KPIs, then you get a full calendar. Then I can give you an uncapped calendar, right? So we have these progressions as long as they maintain their quality metrics. And so like sales, we have a similar onboarding process. The huddle process itself is let's look at the good stuff and let's tear apart the bad stuff. So we've reviewed a call that went well, great. And the far more valuable, let's look at a call that didn't go the way it should have. And then we let the person who did the call correct themselves. So it's really tough if you go jump in and like jump down to everyone's throat and tell them why they sucked. It's much easier for them to say, these are the things that I messed up. And then the team gets to say, here's all the things you did well. That way they get some praise from everybody else, but they still get to have that feedback. And then you can prioritize, okay, this is the thing that's the most important. But that still works for customer service. It works for product. It works for media, which is, okay, why did this clip suck? And let's look at it. And if you notice a common theme for when clips suck, then you just repeating it and reinforcing it keeps it top of mind. We have switched to that process and it has been very good. I also got people off the bus who weren't aligned with it. And so if you have a change that you want to do and you foresee that people will not be aligned with that change, then I think that you owe it to the high performers to create an environment that is only other high performers. You want to get it to the point where it's so self-managed and self-policed that if someone comes in and isn't pulling their weight, they just get removed. Simple as that. And the whole team comes to you like, dude, I don't think this is the guy, right? It shouldn't come from you. It should come from the culture of the team. And that's why you can't have a culture of acceptance where it's no man left behind, like, oh, they're not as good as we thought, but we're just going to keep training them. We're going to keep deploying these resources. It's not to say that you can't train someone.